Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
Hello, this is Ed Cohen, your broadcast host on Global TV Talk Show, a unit of globalbusinessnews.net. We launched this series of Global TV Talk Show exactly 2 years ago. It's because of the pandemic. You see, we used to do live meetings in many places for 25 years. And our last meetings were in New York Times Square on February 25 and Washington, D.C. on Embassy Row on Feb 27. Both were sellouts. That was the last time I have been able to produce a live meeting. So we've started TV talk shows, bringing together our contacts from around the world to come together in a teleconference, which is what you're seeing right now. Our very special guest today is an old friend and a former speaker at our live meetings for several times, Dr. Fiona Citkin, a Fullbright scholar. And I am really interested to learn more about being a Fullbright. That at the time, it was a long time ago, was a really, and still is, I guess, but you tell me, it's a really high honor for a high school kid, college age, to be awarded that distinction, isn't it? Tell us about being a Fulbright. What's it about?
Being a Fulbright is the highest honor for any student or scientist in the world in any field. And of course, in Ukraine, being separated by the Iron Curtain for most of my life, I never heard about Fulbright. When Gorbachev opened up the country and I started going as a visiting professor to the universities of Vienna, Bern, Prague, Budapest, then I heard, you need, Fiona, to get yourself a Fulbright and go to America, expand your research, it will be very well financed. I said, what is Fulbright? And they looked at me. The program was in existence for many years. So it was at that time in 1991, when Ukraine became independent, that Fulbright scholarships were granted to Ukraine. Now, Ukraine, and I love it to distraction, it's my motherland, was at that time, 28 years ago, quite a backward country with respect to women, and it was next to a miracle for me, a university professor from a provincial university, not a capital, to get something, it was almost unthinkable. But, for some reason, I made the cut because what Americans were looking at was description of a project. And my project was good, and I went to America for a year, and then it was extended, and then we loved the country, and we stayed here. And I'm very happy. I went to Kent State University, Ohio, for the first time. Well, now I can boast that living in New Jersey, I became a board member of Fullbright, New Jersey. And I'm helping alumni of Fullbright to do different interesting things. I host the webinars that we are doing for all the alumnus and current Fulbrighters and future Fulbrighters, things of that nature, educational webinars. That's what we are doing, trying to do something good. And that on top of my other activities, as you know.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that deep dive. I remember Senator Fulbright, who's from the state of Arkansas at the time, an extremely well-known and well-educated guy regarding international relations. So it's a highly regarded distinction, and congrats. So now you have written more than one book. How They Made It in America is about immigrant women and their stories, and you have some really important and really interesting people in that book. And now some of them have been on your broadcast. You have a broadcast just like we're doing now.
Yes.
And so congratulations for me being a multimedia. And that's very cool. I appreciate that. I know what it takes to do this. And there's a lot to it that goes on behind the scenes. And
Right.
congrats for your success. You have a nice following, a growing following, and I'm hopeful that I could be of assistance to you going forward. So regarding your TV broadcasts, what is the number one thing, there's probably more than one, but number one thing that you really like the most about doing your TV show?
Like when I was writing a book, I want to be helpful, useful, in other words, bringing up prominent women. Like I brought them to my book, very prominent women, and interview them and ask them how they made it, what was the most difficult thing, what was the other difficulties, and they share their how-to. And the other women who were not that prominent or who are striving to get up in life, as Isabella Allende pointed it out. My grandpa always told me, you need to get up in life. And she was trying with all her might. So did I. And no prominent woman I knocked at the door, said no when I said, let's help other immigrant women to get up in life in this country. Everybody wanted to help other women, like sisterhood of women. It's a big thing. They say that women are against each other. No. Like Magdalene Albright once said, I remember, women who do not help women go straight to hell. And that's like a mantra for my book and for my show. I invite very prominent women. What's the main thing that you did? How did you get the idea? How you did it?
Yeah. Let me ask you about Ivana Trump. And all right, now she's always been in the background, and she's a mother to beautiful and smart children. So she's done more than that. Tell us about that.
Ivana is a slave woman like myself. And probably that was the main trigger that she responded to me. Yes, I am willing to help you. And okay, send your questions. And she was a big traveler, especially when her third husband was alive. He recently died a couple of years ago, an Italian. They lived mostly in Europe. He was also a model, a very, very interesting person, model or man, whatever. And she was proud that she could have a companion 16 years her younger. She has this, chic of a woman always, once you have it forever. And she told me many things. I asked her, and in batches, every time answering several questions. Now I'm in London, I'm busy with it, but these questions I answer. How she studied in university in Prague, how she relocated to Canada, and she had to marry somebody so that her parents would not be, persecuted for somebody. It was the thing of all socialist countries. If your daughter or relative are in a capitalist country, you are a bad person, no job, no nothing. So she had to go through many things. She became a famous model in Montreal, and together with other 3 models was brought to New York by the agency owner to, invite people to Montreal Olympics. Remember that? It was long ago. And they were in certain restaurant pouring rain or sleet or snow, whatever. and they couldn't get a table. And then a man approached them and said, I could get you a table, looking her straight in the eye. And she said, yes, please, 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 we are cold. And that man was Donald Trump. So that's how their romance started. He was attracted. She was not only, an interesting, sassy lady. He went to Canada to make inquiries, including the agency owner. He made inquiries about her parents. He brought her to his family. Well, middle class, they were very much alike, but she was cleverer. She helped him build his company. That's all I can say about Ivana. You cannot compliment a woman more than saying that she helped him build his company from the ground up. They were right here in America, And then, of course, the relationship went sour. And although she played a big role in the company and was not a titular position, but really working at very important jobs at the company, he was floundering, and it was Ivana who filed for divorce, a proud woman. After the divorce, he got whatever she wanted. She got all that based on the fact that she was working for the company, that she was not just a wife, right? And she built her own businesses, clothing business, champagne business, speaker business, and then she was doing cameo roles in certain movies. And also she wrote 3 books at that time, right after the divorce. Well, somebody helped her, whatever. English is not her native language. But recently, when Trump went up again, she wrote another book and sent it to me too. I have it. It's called Raising Trump.
Right.
She raised his 3 kids.
Right.
At least Ivanka is very, very, very clever. Everybody says that. Well, and that's quite a big achievement. She raised them. When they graduated from the university, Mr. Trump gave them jobs. Good. He only trusts his own family. Well, that's him. Well, most people do that, but anyway, so much for Ivana. I have a lot of respect for her, a lot of respect. And recently, when she was burying her husband, he was dying, her 3rd husband, on her hands. He was suffering a lot, some degenerative liver or something. He was suffering a lot. His mother came from Italy, and she requested his mother, could you please share his ashes with me? I want his ashes to always be here, in the room with me. I mean, she loved him. I cannot but respect this lady. Not only beautiful, but intellectual and proud and able to feel deeply. That's all I can say about
That's
Fiona.
a really good story. Thank you very much for sharing that. I find that really interesting.
Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by porch-like rental and destination services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlikerental.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com. Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com. Stop dreaming and start living overseas. International lifestyle consultant Emily Braun can help you seamlessly transition to your new life in your dream destination. Whether you are a retiree, a digital nomad, or a mobile executive, Emily Braun can make your transition overseas a success. Visit emilybraun.com.
Coutalis is a global group with a worldwide footprint. With 16 agencies in 10 countries, Coutalis offers companies and mobile professionals a unique combination of HR services and options. Find us at coutalis.com.
Take your communication skills to the next level. Barbara Bolt of Bolt Global has a passion to make you shine. As our globe expands, effective intercultural communication and presentation is a must. Visit boltglobal.com.
We are pleased to welcome Adamo Education as a proud sponsor of Global TV Talk Show.
The concept of a microschool is the reimagining of the one-room schoolhouse. My name is Tamara Becker. I'm the president and CEO of Adamo Education. The microschool concept really does not just lend itself to the personalization and the customization of learning, but also the social development and fostering that sense of love for learning. Unlike what we see in traditional brick and mortar schools, we have multiple grade levels in the same learning space. Students can be enriched by the socialization that they get, as well as the academic support from peers. What differentiates Adamo is the fact that we are taking the best pieces of brick and mortar, of digital, and then at-home learning. Students here can come 5 days a week. They can come 4 hours a day. It will really just depend on what is best for the student and for the parent. To enroll, just reach out via phone, text, or email, and we'll have that personalized conversation, and we'll be able to get you all set. Check us out at adamoeducation.org.
We're not going to get into politics or anything here, but it's obvious that that was a very productive time for her and for the family. So let's move on to another topic. And I'm very interested in how you see the President Zelensky. Obviously, he's found a leading role and he's gotten into it deeply and living it, and he's doing a Ronald Reagan, you know, in the same fashion of knowing how he looks, how he is projecting himself, how he is communicating specific things that are really easy to understand. And you know what? Only a professional speaker, i.e. an actor trained, can do that. And there are several other prominent people who we're not going to name names right now. They don't know how to do that. They're reading words from words on the teleprompter, stumbling over punctuation and enunciation. But President Zelensky is a true hero, a true president. And it's just totally awful to see the barbarian from Moscow
Yeah.
Go nuts and right in front of our eyes on TV, whether it's Moscow TV or American TV.
Right.
He's doing crazy things,
Right.
and this has to stop, and it has to
Yes.
stop right away. The the goal is obviously not to transform people, but to just take land
Right.
and then repopulate, move people in from other areas into
Right.
a rebuilt Ukraine that he will own. But history, I think, will not
Mhm.
think kindly whatsoever, and the Russian people is a huge population and very diverse, but I'll bet, as we are here today, March 17, 2022, that they are already rising up, maybe silently for the time being, because they fear for their lives and their family.
Right.
But it's really much more than a tragedy. I mean, it is a tragedy, but it's much more than that. It's a almost
What?
a Holocaust for the Ukrainian people.
Yeah.
And it's just awful to see that. And I'm really happy to be able to have this in my wardrobe. So I wear
Uh-huh.
the
Thank
Ukrainian
you.
colors. Yeah. So let's move on and talk about the side business that you have about training people in intercultural things and learning how to communicate better. Isn't that that's probably too simple an explanation of what you're doing. So I'm going to stop talking. Why don't you tell us what exactly you do?
Just like yourself, Ed, 2 years ago, I started my own talk show. I was planning to start it, frankly, even before the pandemic. But then I was moving back and forth, but I was planning. Everything was in the works, I even had a partner from Germany. When pandemic struck, I decided I will do it on my own, limiting myself to America and American people and how we are here. And Germany is Germany. She wants to do something for her own. Let her, but she never did move without me.
Well,
But
it's very difficult to do this. I mean, you can do
right.
one or two, but to do it as a business, as a profession, and to
Right.
understand, excuse me, to fully understand the power of the TV screen here.
Right.
It's not a power thing; it's a communication thing.
It is. It is a communication thing, and I am myself developing as I'm doing that. I started.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I like learn from your own missteps or whatever, or from the advice that other people are doing it. I started doing it. My first shows were with my own book subjects. One from Germany, a Californian lady helped me. We did 2 shows with her, and they were like 35, 40 minutes, even when edited. Then I started condensing, and when I reached 4 watching hours, YouTube made me partner. And they say, you have many subscribers, you have many watch hours, you have a coach. And they said, 20 minutes is max for an interview. Do 15 or 20 maximum. So I started doing that. Then recently, when my numbers rose, they said, try to do like TikTok is doing, like up to 5 minutes. They're dreaming of success of TikTok. And they're right, because people do not have much patience. So I cannot interview for 5 minutes. It's nothing. It's no substance. So I started doing video blogs, just like President Zelensky, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, period. But you have an idea, you have a thought, You are writing it to eliminate extra wording, like those should be heavy words, heavy lifting words. And I did it about Ukraine. I did it on how women should overcome pandemic negatives. I started with those blogs, how women should be more creative and can be more creative, and which ways to. And now I'm focusing practically full-time on Ukraine, because, I feel that all those atrocities, it's like part of my heart is taken out.
Yeah.
So
we have,
whatever I can help, this is my help. And I spread it. I spread the word everywhere I share. And my numbers are growing. People are responding to that. And they're writing to me, where do you donate money? What is your recommendation? And I'm sending them the list I compiled, which company, which charity is doing what. So people, Americans love choices. So that's what I'm doing.
So we're going to end this now because I'm going to follow your consultation here.
Yeah.
Why don't you use this?
It's YouTube consultation, and they are really professionals.
So now, why don't you summarize the website address or how people can reach you?
The website is, you can Google Fiona Citkin, The Bridge for Women Worldwide.
The Bridge for Women Worldwide.
Yes, The Bridge for Women Worldwide. And my website is www.fionacitkin.com, Fiona Citkin, one word. And I always say I'm not shying away from giving my email address, like taking the lead of Ariana Huffington. She would always give her email address, always. My email is fiona.citkin@gmail.com. Nothing can be easier, so I have 3 points of contact, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Fiona Citkin, for being my guest again on Global TV Talk Show. Take care. Be well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.